Sudo is a command that you would have undoubtedly seen if you've used a Unix-based operating system before, such as Linux or Mac OS. You may have come across a terminal command like this: sudo apt install Apache 2, for example, if you're familiar with the Ubuntu distro of Linux. So this apt install Apache 2 part tells the command line to install the Apache web server using the apt packet manager. But what does this sudo mean? Well, Linux is designed with security in mind. Regular users are restricted to performing certain actions that could affect the entire system. For example, installing new packages. This is where the sudo command comes in. It temporarily elevates your privileges to perform these actions. Root users, for example, don't need root users have the correct privileges to perform anything or any command on the system, whereas regular users must use the word sudo before the command in order to be able to do it. So you can think of sudo as kind of getting privileges from the root user. These are then granted to the regular user temporarily, and then the regular user can then perform the command, such as in this case apt install Apache 2. So let's just take a quick look at how this works. So I'm in my VM, and so this is an Ubuntu VM. Let's just use the whoami command to see the name of the user. So right now I'm logged in as the vagrant user. So let's try and install an Apache web server using the command apt install Apache 2. So we're getting a couple of errors here. We're getting a permission denied error, and it's also kind of asking, are you the root? If I now put sudo before apt install Apache 2, we can see that, okay, well, since I've already got a Apache 2 server running, obviously it hasn't downloaded, but it's allowed us to do it, right? Now this would be the same as if I was logged in as the root user. Now I don't need to use the sudo keyword because the root user has all the privileges to basically do anything. So I can just do apt install Apache 2. Now again, I've already got it installed, but as you can see, it's allowed me to do it. So let's take another example. So I'm back at my so I'm not the root user. Let's do something like user add. So I'm gonna try to create a new user. As we can see, again, permission denied. Basically, I don't have the privileges to add a new user, so then I have to prefix it with the sudo keyword, and as you can see, it's allowed me to do it fine. Just to see, we can do cat, or we can do tail etc password. So this shows me here that, okay, the new user that I've added me is kind of has been added successfully. So again, without this sudo keyword, I would not be able to perform certain functions. Now, you might be wondering, if a regular user can just circumvent root privileges by using the sudo command, then how is that secure? I mean, what's the point of basically saying, okay, well, I can't do, a normal user can't install packages, for example, right? They can't install packages, for example, but if they, put sudo before, then they're allowed to. Well, what's the point? What's stopping, that regular user from kind of doing anything? Well, the system knows who is allowed to use the sudo command because the permissions are controlled by a file called the sudo as file. So there's a file and it contains a list of users that are allowed to use the sudo command. Therefore, the root user can kind of give or limit access of the sudo command to whichever user they please. The sudo as file is located in the etc directory, so we can just take a look at it now. Well, I can't. Right. So this is the file. Let me just switch to the root user, and let's add a new user. User add. Let me use add user, test user, password. So I've created a new user here. Yeah, that's fine. I've created a new user, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. Okay, so I've created a new user, and let me do something like apt install Apache 2. Right, so again, permission denied, and it's saying, are you the root? So we were expecting that. But if I now try and do sudo apt install Apache 2, you'd think that I'd be able to do it. Right, but it's still not letting me go ahead and install this server. It's saying test user, which is the one that I just created, is not in the sudo as file. This incident will be reported. So this new user doesn't have access to the sudo command because it's not listed in the sudo as file. So let me exit. Now I'm back as the root user. And let's go ahead and modify this sudo as file, and we'll put the test user in there so that they have access to the sudo command. So the way to modify the sudo as file is by typing in vi sudo. Obviously, if I'm the root, I can do that straight away. And we want to come down to this line here. So this line here is well, I can go through it. So this part here, root, this first field indicates the username that the rule will apply to. So this is applying to the root user. Now this all, the first all over here, indicates that the rule applies to all hosts. The second one indicates that the root user can run commands. What does this one do? This all indicates that the root user can run commands as all users. So, yeah, so the root user can run any command on behalf of any other user. The second or the third all, sorry, indicates that the root user can run commands as all groups. And you may not understand this now. I'll make some other videos on users and groups. And then the last one indicates that the rules apply to all commands. All right, so let's put in test user, and let's give him basically access to all commands, including the sudo command. In fact, let's do this. Allow members of group sudo to execute. Okay, no, yeah, let's put it here. Test user all. Right, so what I'm doing here is basically saying the test user is now on the same level as the root user, but this means that they should have access to the sudo command. So let's just save that. Let's log back in as test user. Now let's try to do something like apt install Apache 2, and it's done fine. So we've added the test user to the sudo as file, and now they have access to the sudo command. So let me exit. Vi sudo. Let's get rid of that. we'll save it. Let's just do it one more time, and let's try. Let's just do sudo I, and it's saying that, you know, again, don't have access. So this is the way that the root user or the admin can control who has access to the sudo command. So for example, you know, the root user could limit this to only, let's say, certain people that they know are allowed to do certain things, and maybe sorry, maybe normal users are kind of not allowed to even use a sudo keyword. So let's just exit. So yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. So that's it for this video. I will leave it at that, and maybe in another video we'll go through some more advanced stuff.